What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we had a back-to-back against the Minnesota Timberwolves to see whether or not the Timberwolves had more bark than bite. It turns out they had a pretty big bite, ladies and gentlemen, especially in the fourth quarter. The Chicago Bulls had control for most of the game. It was close and competitive throughout, but ultimately we fall to the Minnesota Timberwolves. What went wrong for the Chicago Bulls? Well, one quarter clearly went wrong at least. Let's discuss it in this video. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and ultimately the collapse that we suffered in the fourth quarter, as well as your player of the game this time out, as we lose the game 135 to 119. Now, the fourth quarter was an absolute calamity of a quarter, and it's something that we really need to digest here because we gave up 45 points to the Minnesota Timberwolves in that quarter alone. That quarter was 45 points for them and 24 points for us, and that was the big reason in the loss ultimately. Yes, we had some pretty good and bad moments throughout the game, especially in the first three quarters, but we were up in the third quarter. We were up by 5, I'm pretty sure. Maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it was 90 to 95. And we ended up falling away in the fourth quarter in completely disappointing fashion. You want to know the funniest thing about that quarter? Before, the Chicago Bulls themselves posted about that third quarter saying need to close it out. That's what they said, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out they can't even close the door, let alone close out a game in the NBA these days. That was an embarrassment. And ultimately, you could put off a lot of excuses to the Chicago Bulls as to why they suffered the loss. For example, you could say they just had a back-to-back from west to east, and I'm sure that's not necessarily easy to handle, and maybe they did get tired. Maybe their legs did get, I guess, a little bit wobbly and stuff of that nature. Maybe they couldn't handle the heat that the Timberwolves were bringing. Maybe you could say it's the inexperience. At the end of the day, we don't have much experience on this team. Zach LaVine is not out there. Lonzo Ball is not out there. So ultimately, you're dealing with a very young squad. And young squads, sometimes they collapse and fall. You can put excuses there if you like. Ultimately, we didn't have, again, that kind of scoring factor, if you know what I mean. I know Kobe White had a great game, Vucevic had a great game, but no one had a game like Anthony Edwards, for example, who had 33 points in this timeout. And ultimately, without Anthony Edwards in that display, the Timberwolves don't really get near the victory, if you know what I mean. They obviously have their superstar caliber player carrying them to the win, whereas the Chicago Bulls don't necessarily have a superstar of that quality. You could put that excuse out there. I know Zach LaVine ain't the caliber of Anthony Edwards, don't get me wrong, but Zach LaVine can get us a step closer to the victory with everybody else contributing the way that they did. All these things kind of play a factor, right? It's still an embarrassment. It's still not good enough. It's still something we need to really digest. We went from a team that was called the Comeback Bulls, and now we're having teams come back on us. So we need to figure it out, ladies and gentlemen. We're losing in different ways now. We're losing in ways where we get absolutely outclassed and dominated. We're losing in ways where now teams are coming back on us. And look, we've called this, right? I've said to you that the Chicago Bulls are going to concede sometimes when they have big leads. They didn't even have a big lead this time out. But again, the fourth quarter was a pretty big quarter from the Timberwolves. It's going to happen to every team. It's happening to the Chicago Bulls now. I don't know, man. Just not a happy. I guess I'm not a happy Bulls fan, ladies and gentlemen. The bite of the Timberwolves was definitely there. We could take a look at digest at some player stats, ladies and gentlemen, for the Chicago Bulls before we head off today. So obviously we saw Kobe White with 24 points and 8 assists, which is quite incredible. Nikola Vucevic 25 points, 5 rebounds and 2 assists. He's really developing into. I say developing like he's not already a seasoned veteran, but he's a player that ultimately is. He is our best player this season, and it's getting to the point where it's not really even close. You got guys like Ayo with 13, that's not bad. Patrick Williams with 12, I'll always take Patrick Williams entering double digits. You got Josh Giddey with 9 and 13 assists, so that's quite phenomenal from Giddey, getting into that passing and playmaking mode. Taylor Horton-Tucker comes in with 13 points. It's nice to kind of see what he's been able to do since he's been able to get into the lineup. Matas Bazella, 17 minutes, 2 points, and 3 rebounds in the game. Now, ultimately, we can slam a guy like Bazelas if we need to, but we also got to remember he is a rookie, and he is going to suffer some growing pains in the NBA. There'll be some nights, like he had had against the Dallas Mavericks, where he is one of the better players in the team. I literally gave him the player of the game. Then you're going to have other nights where he doesn't necessarily rise to that occasion, which is what we saw today. The important thing with Matas Bazelis is to give him time and allow him to grow in a confident way. I think he's a confidence player. You could tell he likes the trash talk. He likes when, I wouldn't necessarily say it's all about him, but when he's involved in the game, you can tell he's going to really give you something there. And again, let him grow, ladies and gentlemen, because the one thing you don't want to do with a confidence player is destroy their confidence. So give him some time. Let's see where it goes there. Obviously, guys like Jalen Smith, 9 points, 6 rebounds, not too bad. Julian Phillips with 6 points. Again, a big threat from the corners these days, which is obviously why we play him. So look, we had contributors there. We scored 119 points in this game. So it's not like we didn't come out here and play. We balled out for a lot of that game, ladies and gentlemen. But it's like a case study with the Bulls. You have to analyze how things go wrong, because I can't fathom a 45-point quarter for the Timberwolves. It's just bizarre. And yeah, it needs to be studied. It really does need to be studied. So we're going to have to take this loss on the chin, ladies and gentlemen. There is no other way to describe it. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be mad about this one, and they have every right to be. Pressing the panic button is always going to be a thing now because of a game like this. But it also goes to show that no matter what the Chicago Bulls can do, no matter how talented they may be, no matter how many good quarters they may have, there's always that one quarter around the corner that can end up costing them the game. So even if we do play 3 out of the 4 quarters, you're still in danger. So the message still persists for the Chicago Bulls. It's a message I've been saying for a while. We need to start playing all 4 quarters. And especially now on the defensive end, which is, of course, easier said than done. But we have to also give respect to the Timberwolves. At the end of the day, even if the Bulls played their worst possible defense, scoring 45 points in a quarter is ridiculously impressive. And ultimately, you can't all put that down to the Chicago Bulls. You've got to give respect to the talent that Minnesota had and the amount of people in double figures for them as well. I mean, let's quickly take a look at the Timberwolves stats while we're here. You know, guys like, of course, Anthony Edwards, 33 points. Rudy Gobert had 21 points. I don't know how you give Rudy Gobert 21 points. But Jaden McDaniels with 19. Julius Randle with 22. I mean, it's very, very consistent all the way around. Mike Conley with 14. So all of their starters in double figures. And then you got DiVincenzo with 13. Neil Alexander Walker with 5. And Reed with only 4. So ultimately, a really well-balanced starting lineup performance there that ultimately trumped the Bulls in every way. So we're going to have to take this one on the chin, man. It's not fun, but it is what it is. With that being said, my player of the game, I think I'm going to give it to Kobe White. I haven't given Kobe White a player of the game in a while. 24 and 8 assists is quite impressive. I mean, Josh Giddey had 13 assists, so you got to give respect to that. He was definitely making an impact out there on the court, even if it wasn't in the scoring ways. Vucevic consistent once more. But I think Kobe White is the standout for me. It's a close one, but he's my player of the game. I still feel like we need a little bit more. I want players to return so badly because I want to see if Zach LaVine is a key difference maker, if Lonzo Ball is a key difference maker. We've been hearing stuff about Lonzo Ball and how we dodged the bullets based on his injury, his wrist injury. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what updates there are after the 10-day period. And of course, we'll talk a little bit more about it in the future. But thank you guys for watching this video. We'll see you in the next game, but the Bulls need to be better, man. Look, I'd take this game over the last game against Dallas because at least it was close and competitive the entire way. At least there was some fun aspects of the game to watch. I'd always take a game like this, even if it's in a collapse, over a game like Dallas where we just completely... Again, it felt like we didn't want to be there. It's almost like they didn't even come to play. They just wanted to get the game over with. I'd rather have this type of game, but there's still improvements that need to be made. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.